Hey guys, we'll get started in just a few minutes. AR, why don't you say a few words?
Okay, I was sleeping like half hour ago,
Yeah,
so this is gonna be interesting.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Dev, say a few words.
I am exceptionally
Yeah,
tired, and I really want my paycheck now so I can buy expensive anime figures.
yeah. So one thing we're not gonna talk about during the show, we're definitely talking about now is Dev does not know the story of the French Garfield phones. So a ship sank and it was carrying tons of Garfield phones, like back in the 80s, early 90s, Dev. Um, but
Okay.
but no one knew what happened to them because was just lost at sea. And then a random village in France, every once in a while they'd find a single Garfield phone on the beach.
Like a telephone.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
shaped like Garfield. So
Mhm.
then they realized what happened. The crates all got stuck in a cave right near the beach. But it gets better. Are you ready?
Oh god.
They can't get to them. So it still happens to this day where someone will be walking down the beach and they will randomly find a 30-year-old Garfield phone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and even in the chat, they're pointing out that there was a point when you'd find dozens of them. I don't. They're saying hundreds in the chat. I don't think it was ever quite that much, but yes, they used to find just. It was like a shipping thing of tons of them, and they still randomly show up, and they can't get to where the crate is. It's inaccessible because of the cave system. So they've been able to see it. They cannot stop it. So Garfield randomly invades a French village.
That is amusing.
Yes. Because I honestly thought when you were going to guess something that we'll talk about, you were going to guess the Garfield phone. Because that's the dumbest thing ever. But like the
I
paint's
have a
all worn
lot of
down.
highly specific weird knowledge, but that was not part of it.
Yeah. But and just to show you, Dev, before we start, linking you to Google Images. They just show up on the beach and they literally are like full molds of Garfield.
Mhm.
That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah. But
They
they've
were
been
surprisingly popular
yes, but
in
here's
the
the thing.
day.
It's been over 30 years and they still show up.
I wonder if
Like
anyone just like restores them and sells them just because.
I don't know, I like to imagine they do. Okay, you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the WtW podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a bit while yeah. I shall start over. I got distracted thinking about getting a drink. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Okay. Welcome to the WtW podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, running with the will.
I'm AR Pulver and I hate Mondays.
I'm DevQ, and I also hate Mondays, and I learned something today.
Yeah. We all hate Mondays, like lasagna, and like discussing
Mhm.
Garfield.
I actually don't like lasagna. It's a weird thing. Like I usually like all other kinds of pasta, but lasagna is a weird sore point with me.
I can't remember the last time I actually ate lasagna to make that comment. It just felt like I should go with it, to be honest.
I eat it pretty frequently because my parents can make it.
Yeah, when we've spoken about Garfield invading a French village, lasagna has to come up. How has everyone's week been?
Like I said, I hate Mondays.
Well, we all do. That's normal.
I've been working pretty much back to back, like 9 and 10-hour shifts because we are just so horribly
Ugh.
understaffed, and I am dead physically, mentally, emotionally.
That's kind of normal for you, though, Dev. I've known you for like over 10 years, and that's you.
But usually I can like take a nap once in a while or have a day off where I can just like
Wait,
decompress and
does one of
spend
us have
money on
a
sugary
voice morpher
objects.
on? They're saying we sound like a cartoon.
Mm,
I mean,
I
I feel
don't.
like a cartoon.
Yeah, it's one of those days.
Yeah, you guys sound do I sound normal to you?
Yes.
Yeah, you sound fine. I mean,
you guys sound
you sound like you usually do.
yeah, and you guys sound fine to me. Someone's saying that we have a voice morpher on that's making us sound like a cartoon.
Okay, well, it's more appropriate. We're talking about a cartoon.
Okay, continuing on since
It's
okay,
fine.
someone else says we sound fine. Maybe we were just all so excited to discuss Garfield. Ah, it's been a week. Not terrible, but you can feel the calm before the storm, don't you? Can't you like feel it?
It is a light news week, I'll say that.
Yeah, and it really does feel like that we're about to be deluged, and you can tell by some of what's been announced and them not saying much about it. But first, we have a new episode of Adventure to go over, and boy, don't you always love when Shakkoumon shows up?
Actually, don't remember how I
You
feel
do.
about Shakkoumon's Cross Wars episodes.
I'm always happy when Shakkoumon shows up, partially because I just like the interesting design, and I like people trying to argue that it doesn't make sense as a Jagras between Armadamon and Angemon
Oh, at
when it
least we don't
really
have to get
does.
into we don't have to get
It
into that
really
whole
does
chestnut
make
again.
sense. It's
Uh,
just ugly.
It's just a weird looking
oh no,
Digimon.
it's
That's
absolutely
just
it is absolutely a weird looking Digimon, but thematically it's perfect for those two.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
oddly, I don't think any of us called that he would be silent. We were trying to figure out what actor would show up as him. I believe
Yeah,
it
they just went
works.
pew
Yeah.
pew, and that was it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it
Yeah.
worked really well having him be silent, like
Yeah.
shockingly well. And
That's
man,
probably more it kind of fits better than his Cross Wars appearance, if we're being totally honest.
yeah, and especially I really do think it works better having Taichi and Agumon just stumble upon what's going on.
I agree. I made a notice that in my in the
Because
blog. Like
part
it's
part of
kind of
why
having
is
him introduce
yeah.
following him into the situation because he's sort of the fixture. He's in every
Yeah,
episode. So just
that's the
why not follow him into the action? They
that's
did that
the
twice in a
interesting
row and
thing.
it works a lot better.
Yeah, that's where it's interesting
And it doesn't make me go, God damn it, Taichi, every time he shows up
is
Right?
unannounced.
is he's framed as the main character, so by following him, it feels like it makes sense rather than okay, it's playing it as an anthology and then oh look who's shown up in the middle of it.
He's
Like,
almost
God, it's this fucker again.
in these situations, he becomes the viewer surrogate character.
Yeah.
And that's nice to have because, he can run into whoever it is and they can explain what's going on.
Yeah. And man, having all kinds of characters who didn't have the biggest appearances in the past show up again was actually a nice follow up. But very weirdly, this would have been a good follow up to what happened in the last episode, and it never came up. They're building
Yeah, it's like a
new
Digimon, like,
homes.
building a new place.
Yeah, it's getting into the whole idea of rebuilding the land and
Yeah.
resettling after Millenniumon, which is a really cool concept. At least it would be if there wasn't a great catastrophe coming in 4 episodes. It's going to
Yeah.
ruin everything.
Yeah. And then, of course, the
It
most
kind of
important
pops
thing,
up in a bunch of the games, too.
and this is why we need like a full old style toy line. How much would you pay for a Shakkoumon that had the Ninja Turtle pizza launcher in it? Every time he was launching those clay discs, I know that's like a long-standing attack of his, but anytime
Mhm.
he was doing it in this episode, it just made me flash back to having that turtle launcher that launched the plastic pizzas, and it's all I
Oh
could think
my
of every
god, my
time he
brother
did
had
that.
that one.
Yeah,
Drilling into 80s cartoons today.
but yeah,
When are
it's
we not?
and hey, Sora had stuff to do, which is always nice. Although, am I wrong, or did they never say anyone other than Taichi could, blank out and read the text?
Um, I thought
I think someone else did
I thought
before.
Oh,
Sora or
okay, fair
In
Koshiro
the
enough.
did that
Digibyte.
Fair
before.
enough. Fair enough. I thought the first time it actually happened was Taichi in the fortress, and I
I think
thought we hadn't seen it since then.
no, someone had done that
Okay, fair enough. I'm wrong.
beforehand.
No, fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm wrong then. Fair enough.
it didn't strike me as odd as weird. It's the
Okay.
first time they've done that in a while, but I assume that was anyone with a Digivice can
Okay,
do
fair
that.
enough. It hadn't. I didn't remember it coming up, and I just went, I think the last time was Taichi in
That
the...
was like episode 5. I
I
don't
think
blame you.
Tachi kind of was witness doing it, and then the others just kind of picked it up, oh, okay, if we do this with the Digivice, we can read the
Okay,
thing.
fair enough. No, fair enough.
It's
Then,
better than making Koshiro translate everything.
Then they pulled up a tree stump, and oh look, it's Shakkoumon, which is ironically how they found the Digimentals in the first place back in 02. That's how they found Armadamon. They lifted it up and he popped out. Although no Dagyas this time, just fighting.
They just needed a really long sequence to lift up that tree stump.
Yeah, launching pizzas, laser eyes.
Have you ever tried to remove a tree stump? It's a pain in the ass.
Oh,
it
no,
is. It's awful.
It's yeah.
It is. We didn't need to see it in that much vivid detail, but no, it sucks.
And then I don't know, it's kind of weird. I like the episode, but the fight was nice. The pseudo flashbacks were nice, but not. It's one of those episodes where not much concrete seems to happen. They linger on stuff, and then
yeah,
it's a bit weird.
It stalls a lot, and it's a little too simple a narrative for me because Sora suddenly has this ability to do this stuff, and then once she has access to this flashback, everybody's just kind of on board with what she sees, and it's like, oh, okay, we know what she needs to do here.
To be fair,
it's
though,
not really much of a test.
She gained the powers because she saw Gatchmon.
Oh God.
Cupimon was voiced by Gatchmon, therefore she gets new and amazing powers.
I see.
Although man, it is, when I was looking up, it was like, wow, she's Gatchmon. It's like, she's been a lot of people, in fact, for Cupimon's actor. She was Chica in Savers, the Kokuamon in X Evolution, Sparrowmon, Pikmons, and various other. Everyone in Cross Wars just played everyone.
Yep.
We've established that. Yeah.
So,
but yes, I think it was a little too clean for the way Sora handled all that.
Well, the one thing
I would have liked it to be a little more complicated.
The one thing I was happy about, and it actually got mentioned in the chat, was that we did not get and it's happened a few times where the episode will stop to bring up more about the ancient war, stuff that kind of isn't relevant anymore as far as we know.
No,
I'm glad that it didn't stop to do that.
It's been all death and destruction this whole time. It's like, yeah, okay, this all happened before. We don't need to know when.
And now Shakkoumon has a new place to guard.
Yep. After all, his cute, adorable little friends were just brutally murdered.
Yeah, probably right where he's standing, in fact.
Wake up, go on a rampage, go back to bed. It's everyone's dream.
And not one of them was wearing the little pumpkin outfit that Gatchmon wore.
An absolute travesty.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the episode.
Speaking of pumpkins, it is 69 days until Halloween.
And then we got the nice little art piece at the end. That's nice, but I wish they'd do that more consistently, to be honest. Where it ends on like a really nice art piece.
Yeah, they do that half the time.
They do it half the time, and it's not always clear it's coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this episode.
They used to always end it on a cliffhanger, so they just sort of changed tack there. Yeah, I feel like I should have liked this episode more.
Yeah, it's weird because I keep thinking of the character,
there's just so many things that you can tell they could have done better. It just felt a little lazy for me.
Like I would have liked more with Junkmon or Negamon. It's still weird to have a Negamon who has like a coherent, mature personality.
Yeah.
Because the problem is the Frontier one is so in our heads that and he has the pants. It's weird.
It's also the first time we've seen him in a while. So it's like, oh yeah, he's competent.
Yeah. Which he really shouldn't be, considering it's Tenchi. There should be shenanigans afoot. Man, it is nice to see the random catch-up, though, even if it's not as much as I would like to see. Like having the Pamumon go, oh, we can fly now.
like, we practiced really hard. And it's like Palmon is baby.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I
It's
look at
like all the
Palmon,
random Digimon that Sora helped.
every time I look at Palmon, I just think something's gonna eat these little fuckers.
They're
I mean,
probably really tasty.
technically
And
already
to the
did.
chat, no, bad Galhart, no. We don't need to
I'm
go
not
into
gonna
that
pretend.
shitty Star Wars gag. Bad
I'm not-
Galhart. We don't need to see bad J.J. Abrams writing. The show can have its own bad writing. That's still better than that. And then next time we get the Crest of Courage, and then I believe that's. Are there any other crests left? I've kind of lost track, if I'm being honest.
No, I think that's all of them.
Yeah,
I think it's
but on
the
the plus,
last
That is all of
one.
them. And hey, this one is actually named.
yeah, and on the plus side, I really like that the thumbnail image with Nightmon. That is a great like promo image. It makes me it makes me want to see what happens. Just that kind of where he's standing there posing with the sword. I'm happy about that.
I just like that preview with the Taichi and Bodemon that's going to make people think that something's going to happen that is not going to happen.
I don't know. I at the moment I give a coin flip to what people think is going to happen. I'll go ahead and coin flip that one.
Okay.
Where everyone's like,
But
"Oh,
someone's going to say it.
oh, it's been said 100 times where, oh,
Okay.
Taichi has accidentally time traveled. It's actually Agumon before the war."
Oh Christ.
I figured, like, my guess was going to be that Bodemon was going to poop.
No, because remember that's the guy gate is Agumon's missing all of a sudden once this happens. So the
Yes, but
currently
my theory was still Agumon's going to poop.
so the current
It's gonna
coin
sit
flip
up and
theory
it's
is
gonna be
that it's actually time travel and that's actually Agumon. But we'll see next time. And then minus some of the parallel cards, look at all the booster set 7 cards. Aren't
With
they
the
all?
pretty art.
They're all so pretty.
They are fucking gorgeous.
And some interesting choice. I don't think anyone expected to see King Waymon show up. I don't think most people even know who King Waymon is.
How dare they?
And then there's some really good choice. It's very much a frontier heavy set. Adventure is kind of a secondary theme, and then we get some interesting smaller themes of. We get some X Evolution, we get some mobile games, the Vital Bracelet, and I will say, the color art of Harrismon does not look better, but his parallel art looks amazing.
Mm,
The parallel art of Harrismon is exactly what I wanted to see, where they
Yeah.
don't have him from a weird
Yeah.
angle, so it doesn't quite look like him. It just looks exactly how I expect.
That's my boy.
Yeah, because just with like the perspective on the other one, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, then we have all the campaign cards from the set also. It's weird. I like the art. Something about the shading just throws me off. And it's every time I've seen one of these cards, the shading's just like it. And I get it's supposed to be, anime plus. It's just something's off about it to me.
A little overly airbrushed.
Yeah, a little too much.
That may be it. Yeah, and I'm just looking at the Pokemon and Amon cards again. Yeah, lots of good artwork there. And then there was some card stuff in V-Jump, but most of it was previews of cards that we now have. And we have some upcoming things. So first up, another starter deck, the special entry set, which we'll see how that ends up being because the price isn't actually that different than the early starter decks. It's just the starter decks have gotten fancier and kind of priced out of being those entry type things. So we'll see. And for the 8th booster set, it'll be called New Hero on November 26th. And oddly, there are people who think it will not be Ghost Game.
Mm.
I'm not going to say it's all Ghost Game because it's not, but if there was not a decent chunk of Ghost Game in this set, I would honestly be shocked.
it'll have at least the main the trio.
I
Like,
guess the question is how high do you think that will go, level wise?
well, we don't know exactly how levels are going to work in this, so
That's true,
Yeah, it's like, are they sticking with, like,
so here's the thing.
child, adult,
I
or are they
do
going with
not I do not
Capcom kind
I
of?
do not believe we're gonna get anything odd as far as levels go when the card game has gone to such lengths to make everything work with generic levels that have been around, and they've
ooh,
even been giving levels to things to make them fit in.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is that they might not just like go adult
Oh, okay.
early in the series.
I'm gonna say we're gonna get at least up to perfect, I think.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, it's
That's
coming out in November. The series
November.
airs in what, late September?
Heck, if you're going with that it's 66 episodes, then we are a month away.
Yeah, I think that still kind of feels kind of early to be thinking perfect.
But here's the thing: think about how many shows. I mean, we got War Greymon and Omegamon in the Adventurean show. Tamers showed up to the Ultimates just in silhouette.
Yeah, it's
Even in the
Well,
even
that
in
and the dim cards are coming out in
yeah
October, so
yeah
yeah.
even in the case of
If
something
they
like
show,
Appmon,
I
we were
guess if
get
they
yeah.
I guess if they show the perfect, it might be the first time we see the perfect.
I
Like they
see.
might not have been in the anime yet.
I don't know. I kind of expect him to show up in the intro, to be honest.
Mm,
oh, because this
But
says coming out in November. The dim card for each of those lines is going to be out in October, so
well,
they probably don't give much of
I
this.
think the other two were December.
Okay.
Gamma
So it's
Gamma
just Gamamon that's
Gamamon's October. The other two were in a 2-pack for December, I think. I don't keep track of those dates as closely as I probably should, but yeah, we'll see what at the very least. I think we can all agree we expect all three child forms to show up.
easily.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
yeah. And then Fun Digica and Card Battle both had episodes. Card Battle unfortunately did not bring us a new cameo. It just did much more of the one from last time. So we'll see what pops up because they're trying to find things to do, fun things to fill time, especially since they very clearly can't get everyone in the studio.
Yeah.
So we'll see what pops up there. And we have the results from the first summer activity poll, and we got nice artwork. And the winner was a barbecue.
It felt like just a roundabout way to get
Barbecue so
some
badly.
artwork out.
Yeah. And
I
It's
wish
fun,
I
it's
hope
cute,
I
and it has
hope
my
there's
favorite on it.
I wish there was artwork for the rest of these, honestly.
I wish there was. I think the best we can hope for is that the cool down in the summer one gets a piece of art for the winner also. I think that's the most we can hope for.
Yeah, well, I would expect that.
Yeah. I think the most annoying thing about the artwork though is the VIP of the arts Kulumon who was in another one that didn't win.
Just seeing Tokamon X in there is pretty nice.
Yeah. He's been in a few of these in
Like,
the
it's
past,
their
I
tiny
think.
friend.
Yeah.
It's just he's so happy.
Although,
And
the one issue I
he's so happy and ignorant of all that this child is dead means.
the only issue I have is look at the perspective on him pointing to the food when he should not be able to be high enough to see any of that.
He's trying to stand on his hind legs and kick himself up, and it's not going well, and he doesn't care because he's going to get meat anyway, because
That or
Doraemon's a
bell
friend.
peppers.
I think Gilmon's gonna eat it all. Yeah.
I don't know if he does that. This is going to turn into another Alphamon versus Dukemon fight if that happens.
Speaking of Alphamon, AR, a beloved friend of the podcast, isn't around anymore. Tell us your story.
Oh yeah, every time I swing by Barnes and Noble, I always check if that Alphamon Digivolving Spirit is on the shelf, and it wasn't there. There were
It,
Shoto figures. I got a Lilymon Shoto figure, So that was nice.
Oh, nice.
The most annoying thing is you didn't point out the alpha one wasn't there originally. So in my head I went, I'm gonna tell AR to buy that on the show when it's on sale. I'll pay for it, and then we'll give it away to the audience. And then later you posted something like, "Oh no, it wasn't there," and it's like, shit, there went that
Yeah,
plan.
no, it's gone.
Well,
It was
I
gone.
wouldn't inflict that kind of torture on
I
anyone.
would say I hope someone enjoys it, but that's
It
going on
would
a
be
shelf.
if you had me do that, it would have been like I would not have been able to resist attempting to transform that thing.
Yeah, the
And
problem there,
I would have documented my failure.
no, the part you'd have to document is trying to get it back in the box.
It's a lost cause. I threw out the fucking little plastic insert that goes into the box. Like it's never getting back in.
Yeah. And the main reason why we can mock that transformation is because the staff that worked on it. And we bring it up, on the one stream when the staff who helped work on it did a race to transform it, and they eventually had to stop the race because it just wasn't happening.
It's hard because he's a royal knight.
Yeah. Then a lot of previews from V-Jump this month. The most relevant ones, though, is we got new artwork of Gamamon. We got
Yay.
that little smiley face is amazing.
Oh, it's so Vmon-esque.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And then we got some Vital Bracelet news. The first page was basically just, hey, look, it's the stuff that we announced. And we got 2 pages of the anime promos. And then we got to see much of the lineup for brain froze on the name.
Dynasty
It's
of Evil.
Dynasty of the Evil, which is why my brain froze on it. I was trying to remember where the went. People are very happy about the lineup for this one.
I really need to get a hold of that one.
And then they showed Tamer Set
Bonnie, I'm sorry about
EX2,
your wallet.
which isn't pre-orderable at the moment. And then they announced 2 more dim cards, which they also went, these won't be pre-orderable at the moment. So the official change out was that they're undecided, which they've said before for products. That means they just don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't expect it not to show up. I expect it got pushed back because of them figuring out the EX2 stuff. But we get Seraphimon with Judgment of Heaven and Mitamamon with Karma of the Gods, and it appears what it is Judgment of Heaven is Western God themed and Mitamamon is Eastern God themed.
Ooh.
And that's called the premium set, and people got very upset about that, going, that price isn't fair. And you can see what the expected price is. It's basically the same as what we've seen. It was basically $20 for the 2 of them, which that's pretty standard. It just means you have to deal with the intermediary or hope that Premium Bandai USA gets them. So we'll see what pops up there.
Yeah, because when you average it out, like dim cards themselves, like if you just divide by how many, it vary from like $8 to $15 per.
I'd say more
ship?
like 8 to 12, to be honest. These are on the higher side, but not like unreasonably. These are basically the same price as the Tamer set if you split it into 3. So this is basically basically they're getting an extra $1 out of you. I think, see, they should do the smart manipulative thing, which is sell each of these with another dim card that you don't really want. Don't sell 2 that people actually want. Include oh, I know what they should do. Are you ready? It's the most terrible idea ever. Are you ready? Have 2 premium sets of 3 dim cards each, and the other 2 are non-randomized versions of the GP cards. And advertise it as the chance to get the GP ones now that the GP line's not going to exist anymore.
People will still pay like $300 for them.
Yeah, Shadow House still going for $300 is insane.
Oof.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Which reminds me of what I found on my shelf when I was cleaning. Dragon Box 2 is still sealed.
Which?
The second Dragon Ball Z Dragon Box. The one that they underprinted and people go nuts to try to get a hold of. Still sealed.
Oh, neat.
I looked at the recent prices on eBay, and I will be selling that to someone, I'm sure, because at least one person made a joke to me that I could retire, which, no, but yeah, I'll be getting
No,
rid of
if
that, I
you
assume.
had like a first edition Black Lotus Magic the Gathering card, yes, you could, but otherwise, no.
Yeah. Then they also showed off. We get to see technically, our new villain Negamon. That's an evilly looking
Mm,
guy.
yeah, that is I guess that
It's an
is a
angry
villain.
noodle.
It is an evilly looking guy who has a lot of dots on him.
Is it Negamon or Negamon?
I'm going with Negamon
Nega,
for
kind of
now,
like the Negaverse.
like negative, and it does have the
Yeah,
little stretchy
the little
thing at the end.
stretchy thingy is confusing me.
Yeah. Oh, it's confusing a lot of people who are not very smart. You
Generic,
can
kind
imagine.
of fishy villain.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the best they can come up with, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And and
Eh.
then and then Rearise
You
gets a
know what it
nice
looks like? It looks like the goddamn thing from Skyward Sword. God, the hell is his name?
not Ganon is what I'm going with.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Rearise gets a page featuring Frontier and Tamer stuff. The Tamers are all 20th anniversaries. Nice to see Susanumon get so much featuring lately.
Yeah.
The Imprisoned.
I'm sticking with not Ganon.
Yeah.
Although
I mean,
I
technically it's
guess that would be not Pig Ganon. Yeah.
Well, at least now we know what happened to Sonic the Hedgehog's teeth after they redid him for the movie.
Oh God. No.
God,
See,
why the fuck did you remind me of that?
that's not what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the final version of Chaos, where you have to bum rush him as Supersonic. We're just like
Oh, yeah.
there's just like it's just waving itself around. That's what it reminds me of.
Hmm.
And then we get profile art of Shakkoumon and Cupimon, who both make their big appearances in the episode this week. Poor Cupimon has no idea that he's dead.
Yeah.
They're all dead. And then
Or only appears in a flashback.
yeah. And now that Hermit in the Jungle's actually out, Hydramon gets a reference book entry. And it's actually weird when we get
Yes.
it's actually weird because the art we had for Hydramon before looked high quality until you actually get like the social media post with it. It's like, wow, the other one actually looked kind of terrible. Like now that we actually have clean art to look at, yeah,
You get to see all the sexy details.
eh. Details are about the same. I just more mean like the line work is much nicer. And I assume it's very nice that on his vacation, Biolante could come to Digimon when he's not fighting Godzilla.
We're all very happy.
Although anytime I see this a thumbnail, my brain still goes with that yellow poker thing's the bottom of the mouth. Whenever I see that small.
It looks like a jaw. It does look like a
Yeah.
jaw.
Yeah, anytime it's a
And it
thumbnail, I
looks
see
like
that.
the rest of it's like a. It just looks like things hang all off the side of its neck.
Yeah, it's nice that Godzilla's friends could show up though. And now it's time for questions. As we do the ones that were sent in ahead of time, you guys in the chat can go ahead and toss them up. Someone wants to know, instead of new stuff you're thinking of buying, do you remember wanting something when you were younger and not getting it?
Constantly, because my family was broke as shit.
I'm trying to think of
I
specific
can't
things.
think of anything that was like that I really wanted, and I mean, I'm sure there was stuff, but it was
It's
like
not stuff that was
just
important enough that
it's
you remember.
yeah, it's like meaningless crap you wanted when you were 13.
Yeah.
I wanted a Digimon.
It's like I remember like games, but not like specific because the games that were actually like worth it, I ended up with at some point. It's more
Yeah.
stupid stuff like um I really liked a platform game for the PC called Pharaoh's Tomb when I was little. Not a great game, but I really enjoyed it. And I finally found a copy of it at the 99-cent store. And this was like a 5 1/4 floppy.
Hmm.
But as anyone who got PC games back then would know, that was just the first part of the game, not the full one, and the game wasn't for sale anymore.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
so I had the first adventure of 4. And it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
until years later that I actually got the proper game because the company that made it didn't plan on selling it anymore. They put it up on the website, they put it up on Steam for a while, so I was able to get it. And the best story of it is the developer is one of the guys who's in charge of Duke Nukem.
Mm-hmm.
He programmed the game by himself and he was so tired when he was finishing it, he misspelled his name on the title screen. That
Oof.
that is the only thing that is generically unique or interesting because it's not a great game. It's a platform game. It stars it's you going raiding tombs and you play as a character named Nevada Smith.
I
Yeah,
got that reference.
yeah, that and I believe the second game in the series, which was Arctic Adventure, I believe it even mentions that he works for a Dr. Jones who always steals credit for all his work.
I would have
Yeah,
liked
That
it
is
each
hilarious.
I would have
I
liked
like
each
that.
game the protagonist has that same formula where it's like pick a state, pick a generic last name.
yeah. But yeah, it was a game I enjoyed. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, I had that one, I had the big floppy where I had to do it on old computers, and then at some point, this goes into a hold or a new computer shows up and you don't have 5 1/4 floppies anymore. But hey, I have the game now for any time I want to remind myself that it's an okay game.
One thing I lusted after ever since I was a small child was Ash Ketchum's hat from the original Pokemon series, and the local Suncoast video had it, and I wasn't allowed to get it because I said, "Oh, you'll be out of that. You won't be interested in that in a while," and it was
Oh.
gone. And then years
Mm.
later, I was at Disney World, and someone forgot their Ash Ketchum hat just lying on the ground, and Mom wouldn't let me keep it. So because like, oh, someone's probably looking for that. You don't need a
Oh.
hat. So we just literally left it
Oh.
on the dock. But
Oh.
last year, Pokemon Center released a life-size Pikachu with Ash's hat on it, and you are
Oh no,
damn right that
did
I
you
totally fucking bought that.
did you buy the
I
plush
bought
and
it and
then
I put
steal
the
the hat
hat
from
on
it?
it. Yes, I did. I
was
absolutely
the
did.
hat actually removable?
Yes. You
Nice.
just snip the two threads and it's like an adult size hat.
Okay.
That
Okay.
that was the best Club Nintendo reward ever that they did years ago. They points for a Mario hat, but not like a baseball hat. They'd actually designed it to be like puffy, like in the games.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
got that, and that's somewhere. But yeah,
Yeah, I know that there was stuff like old like Super Nintendo or N64 games that I got really excited about, like reading Nintendo Power that I never got, but I could not name any specific
AR,
one.
are you sad that you never got Daikatana?
That was definitely not one of them.
That was one that everyone saw and just went, "No, that's gonna suck." Even with the advertising, which was like, "He's gonna kick your ass." That was like, oh god, it's so fucking horrible. The one that I actually remember everyone wanting for the N64 and it being fucking horrible was Quest 64.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Because
one too.
because the
I don't think
N64 didn't
I
have
wasn't as into
RPGs.
I wasn't as into RPGs at the
Yeah.
time.
But the N64 had such few of them, especially in the West, that it was like
Yeah.
an RPG and it has somewhat nice looking graphics. And then you get it, play for 5 minutes, like, oh, I'm not playing this shit anymore.
Yeah, I remember the hype for that one.
Yeah.
I remember they really tried to get me to want that one, but I never wanted that one.
Yeah. Then Galhart wants to know what's an anime moment that ever got you misty-eyed or tearful? Does not have to be Digimon related.
Oh
I kind
boy.
of so here's the thing. This one's kind of a cheat for me because I watch so much anime that I'm gonna tear up just shows being over and being done with it.
I'm trying to think of non Digimon ones. Like, it says it does not have to be Digimon related. Like, there's enough Digimon ones that I got. Like, I don't know, like half of the Try movies got me in
See,
a
the problem
way.
is I'm trying to think of one that I didn't work on, but that's
Yeah,
so
like
long
Well, there's always
removed.
like the last part of Digimon Tamers where the
yeah,
Digimon
the
have to
ending
go
of
away.
Tamers for sure. Try Tamers and Atmon are the three that have the endings that kill me. But I'm trying to think of other
Yeah,
ones.
while you think, I'm going to go with my cheat answer. Your Name.
I still haven't seen
I
that
haven't seen
one.
that either.
That's a
It's been on my queue for a
that's a
while.
cheat answer because I worked on
Yeah.
it.
It's
That
like I
Yeah,
that
I wouldn't
listen to the
say
music
I would
often
say
enough, but I've never got a chance to watch it.
oh,
yeah,
it's very good.
I want to say Girl Who Leapt Through Time, that ending got me a little bit. I
Yeah.
don't even remember if that's a particularly sad ending. It's just unfortunate
That
because
that
she's a dumbass.
that's kind of anime, isn't it? Like,
It
oh,
is.
it's like, oh, the show's over. I'm tearing up, not because it's sad, but because it's happy and the person's in it. Do you know how many shows that happens with? You could tear up at the end of Sergeant Frog from that.
You could, yeah, right, right.
Or that, or
There,
that,
there.
that.
My kid was watching like Pokemon movies, and I'm like, if I was younger, and like how I was a teenager, this would be difficult.
Okay, to be fair, during Pokemon the first movie,
Oh, I
in
don't
the
mean the
movie
first
theater,
movie. I don't mean the first movie. He
there was
was
a
watching like,
standing ovation when Ash died.
oh.
Wait. Okay,
Ash dies in like
okay,
half of those
wait.
movies,
Could you
though.
clarify? Was the standing ovation because he died, or a standing ovation
Yes.
when they cried and he brought him back to life?
No, when he died. When he's on the
Yes.
ground and like he's all stone and Pikachu's crying, there was a standing
Okay,
ovation. Adults, children, they were standing up and clapping.
I really want to know what the focus groups were like for that movie. Like the most
I
positive, the most positive response when he turned into stone. That was great.
the focus
Do that
group
again.
the focus group response
Which
was simple.
explains why they
The
explains
Pokemon
why they always do.
The focus group response was simple. Pokemon needs more vitamin C. That was her name, wasn't it? That singer that used to be popular.
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
it
that was
Vitamin
her
C?
name. I'm sure.
Yeah, they did the
I don't
Pikachu's
remember.
vacation sound.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically which song she did in that in the Pokemon movie, but it was in that time frame where she would have been on the soundtrack of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she
Vacation.
was.
I
Oh,
don't doubt it for a second.
wait, it actually was Vacation?
Yes.
Isn't that the only song of hers that survived?
I know she did the graduation song that everyone
yeah, you're
hated
right.
back then.
Oh man.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
people got sick of that one fast.
Yeah. Okay, next up, one that was sent in. If you had a bunch of money but couldn't buy the IP, what would you do to improve stuff for Digimon fans? Dev's not allowed to answer this one because I already know. I know Devs. She would do exactly what we've done before, which is buy stuff and archive it to fuck with people. Because here's the thing: if me and Dev had a ton of money, I know exactly what me and Dev would do. Anytime like dim cards or V-Pets came out, we'd buy hundreds of them and stash them away. And the instant people started scalping them, we just wave them out.
Exactly.
There's literally a old video game collector who started doing that. He started going through his collection, and as people started scalping old games, it'd be like, oh, this is a rare game. There's only 100 of them. He'd go to his garage and take picture of retail cases of that game just to fuck with them and lower the price.
Nice.
But,
it's so fun.
Yeah. As for serious answers, AR, you have some sort of serious answer, don't you?
Yeah, see, if I couldn't actually buy the IP, I would still create content for Digimon.
That's the thing. If you can't buy it, there's only so much you could do.
Well, I would still, have some, help fund like fan work, nonprofit fan works and such, zines and just content, have a, have like a fan graphic novel or something.
Well, just because you can't buy the IP doesn't mean you can't license it with enough money.
And that's
and make
another
your own
That's
true.
Just
have a
I'm not
just
sure.
have a vanity publisher that's just gonna print out that's gonna offshoot Digimon novels and stuff.
Yeah, or you could just print out like tons of
V-Tamer!
T-shirts and merchandise
V-Tamer!
and throw it in Hot
Yeah,
Topic.
I'd license V-Tamer.
Wait, wasn't that an answer last week to something that we got asked?
Um,
I
Where
think
it's
it's
just the
like,
manga?
if you could localize one
Oh,
thing
okay.
that didn't
yeah,
get.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, Ian wants to know, how soon, if at all, would you expect post-show content for Adventure 2020? See, I don't actually expect it for one key reason. We already know that they're moving for classic Adventure because a new movie's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason why we so often don't get a lot of 02 stuff. It's not because 02 stuff wouldn't sell. It's that it's always in the middle of Adventure stuff. Like the 15th anniversary was right as they were starting up marketing for Try. The 20th anniversary was as the movie was coming out. So 02 never got the larger version of that stuff because other stuff was happening. At this point, we have an 02 movie coming out, so there's nothing minus like, oh, they include an audio drama with the last Blu-ray box. I'm not really expecting much of anything, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting seeing how they navigate that going forward as far as new content, with images and particularly with, songs and audios
See,
because
I don't
they
really expect
are
any of it.
I kind of don't either because they are essentially different characters by
Yes.
this point. So it's yeah, I don't know if they're going to revisit this brand of characters or if they're going to be done with this and go, okay, let's go back to the original and kind of
Oh,
focus on that.
see, I expect them to go back to the original. Do I expect nothing ever? No, but I mean in the sense of where most shows have gotten something afterwards to some degree. I expect this to be more akin to, say, Crosswords, where it's just there was other stuff to do by the time they would
Yeah,
have gone back to do something with Crosswords.
yeah, but yeah, like Crosswords never got anything.
Yeah, and part of that has to do with, the separate
They
music
went right away
licenses.
and yeah, and they also went right away to Hunters.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not really expecting much of anything, at least in the short term.
Yeah, like maybe in a year or two they might
Yeah.
do some
Yeah. See,
revisit with
even something like
because
Appmon's weird because while we did get stuff like image songs right as everything was
yeah,
getting ready to end. So it feels like with Appmon we got something.
yes, I would say we got something for sure for Atmon.
Yeah, even though I think that CD was what 2 months before it ended, it feels like it was like a victory lap kind of. So
A little bit. And did that accompany the OST?
yeah, it was
Or was
the
that a
OST and some new image songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's the type of thing where I'm not expecting anytime soon. Galahard in the chat says give it 5 years. Yeah, they could easily do variant products and stuff like that could easily show up. I don't expect that in the short term though because we have a new show and then at some point in the next few years we have a movie that are going to have the original characters show up.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I expect we got something like say the campaign cards in Booster Set 7
Mhm.
cuz do I expect to never see that version of the characters in the card game again? No. But I think that's
It'll be interesting to see where those versions of the characters
yeah.
show up again.
But yeah, the show helped launch the card game. It was there for its first year and a half, and it ended their run by giving really nice campaign cards for each one. As much as I do think the art looks a bit odd to my eye, that's 100% a look where it went in a year and a half. And it's
Yeah.
continuing on, which was the job of the anime to launch that sort of stuff. So yeah, but I don't expect anything in the short term. Trying to think what they would do. It would all it almost would just be like, oh, an adventure back
I-
during the war. So, like
Yeah, if
there's not
yeah,
there's not missing time here where it feels like it needs to do something.
yeah, like it does feel like there could be some sort of a recap audio where they kind of reflect on things, kind of what kind of the way they did with the first
Savers.
zero two and the first
Oh,
well, I'm like the first 02 Tamers audios where they just sort of look back on things. Like
okay.
that might be kind of nice. but I don't know
I
if they'll
think
actually
Savers
do
did
it.
that on the last DV, didn't they? They had
I
I believe they
yeah.
had the 3 Digimon like watching part of an episode and commenting on it or something like that.
Yeah, I was the post Sabers. I forget that Sabers has image songs. That just completely.
Oh, and
I completely
those were
blank on
after
that.
the show, weren't they?
Yeah, like I just forget those
I think
Oh,
exist.
so. Or
yeah,
like really
I forget.
close at the end.
Yeah, I forgot those existed too, to be honest. Okay, next
Mhm.
up, someone wants to know what Star Trek show should they start with if they were thinking of trying to watch Next Generation.
I was gonna say like it's got to be Next Generation, right?
And here's why: Deep Space Nine would actually potentially be an answer, except it's old videotapes. Deep Space Nine. It hasn't been remastered. A lot of it's predicated on Next Generation. Next Generation looks gorgeous because it's been remastered. That's where you start. Watch
Mhm.
that. Watch Deep Space Nine and Voyager. Then go back and watch the original series. Then watch Enterprise, and then you have other stuff. Lower Decks just keeps getting better and better, though. It's come back for season 2, and it's and older fans with no sense of humor are getting more and more upset by it.
Yay.
Good.
Like they're upset. I don't believe either of you follow Star Trek at all, correct? AR I know doesn't.
Mm,
Dev I never remember.
No. And honestly, that's
I know
it's
far
weird,
too much about Star Trek
Okay,
against my
right?
will.
okay. Dev,
It's
does the name
it,
Temerian mean anything to you?
It's familiar, but I think I've like blocked it out like a
Okay,
traumatic
so
memory.
the Temerians only ever show up in one episode, and it's one of the best remembered episodes. If I said one line, Dev would know what I'm talking about. Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Oh yeah, those fuckers.
Yeah, they don't. They speak in metaphor, so the translator doesn't work on them. So everything they say is like a story from their past. A member of that race shows up on Lower Decks and he has tried to learn English, and people are mad that he's speaking English. And it's like you can't have a character like for one episode that makes perfect sense to do.
mhm.
For an act to actually have him join the cast, he has to be able to converse with.
Communicate with the
Yeah,
cast.
yeah.
What if
So
he just speaks entirely in memes?
no, so what they did was quite clever. He speaks English, but he occasionally slips when he loses track of what he's saying or doesn't know what he's saying into phrases like from that episode. And then he gets
That
embarrassed
would
about it.
actually
He
make sense.
apologizes. And that makes perfect sense. And some people are upset because, no, they can't speak that way. That they speak in metaphor. It's like, he said he learned. Leave it alone.
Yeah, they
It's
hand
fun.
waved it. Yeah.
Exactly. And then someone wants to know where we talk about the old days of collecting, how are things different? They were harder and they were more annoying. It's not like it was
They
fun.
didn't have the internet.
Like, here's the thing:
Speaking of how annoying it was, I
toys
wanted
and
to.
joys.
God, I had to send in a fucking money order to order something on eBay.
Oh no,
Money
shit was annoying.
orders.
Like, here's if you collected Digimon stuff 20 years ago, you invariably ended up at Toys and Joys. It was almost impossible not to at some point. It was a Hawaiian import toy store that had a website. The prices weren't
That was
great.
god fucking awful.
Yeah, but if you wanted to collect Digimon stuff, you almost had no choice.
Yeah, it was that or
There was
eBay.
also well, yeah, but eBay was even more expensive. There was also a place in New York. I think they're still there. I think they're called Image Anime. They carried a lot of Digimon stuff also. It wasn't fun doing it. It was annoying. Oh my god, they are still there. And the website does not really look much better. Wow, that website's still fucking ugly. Ugh. And they still have terrible images that do not match the products. Fantastic. It's like being sent back in the time 20 years.
Like you're stepping into the
Yeah.
Wayback Machine.
But yeah, the one thing that was nicer though is you didn't necessarily coherently know everything. Is you did get to like go, okay, I like that, I want to get it, and you could still be surprised when it showed up about what it would do.
Mhm.
Like you could order a VPET and not know everything that was going to be on it, and that there's some fun in
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But
And you
yeah,
didn't really have websites like we do now, like as soon as it comes out, heavily researching fucking everything about it and posting it to like where we can all see it.
Well, with the V Pets, they're I mean they announce everything on it from in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, now, yeah.
Yeah,
But
now
yeah,
they do.
and one thing was, there was a lot more stuff, but it wasn't necessarily as nice as we have now. Like the maximum for high-end fancy Digimon stuff was the D-Reel line.
Yeah.
Like people like really awaited each one of those, and those were basically just like normal action figures, but they looked kind of nice. They weren't super expensive, even importing, so people just love those. So yeah, it was stuff like that, and it wasn't. It was very time consuming more than anything else. But yeah,
And frustrating.
yes, it was. Um, and then in that vein, someone wanted to know, with all of us loving retro video games, what do we think of the Amico? And ha ha.
I had not heard
I
of the
didn't even know it
Amico, and
existed. I
I
don't know what
didn't
it
know this
is. I don't
existed
really
until I got this question. I looked it up, and now I
Okay,
regret it.
okay. So the question's relevant to me for one reason: is I am theoretically the person it's aimed for, and I say theoretically because they don't seem to know what their marketing is. So the entire point of the Amico marketing wise should be, hey, did you love the Intellivision, which was better than the Atari as a kid? We're going to do a new Intellivision. Now, here's the thing. 99% of people don't know what Intellivision is, and they don't care. I'm one of the few people, I'm
Yeah.
of the youngest group that actually would know and care. Because I actually had an Intellivision because my parents had one. And even when I had a Super Nintendo, I would occasionally pull the thing out of the closet because it actually was fun. That's not the marketing they're going with. The marketing they're going with is basically video games aren't fun for kids or the family. We're gonna redesign how video games work
Oh my god.
entirely. Oh,
Oh god.
and it gets stupider. It
Oh, I know it gets stupider.
yeah.
I did do some
Yeah.
research on this and
Okay.
just
So
kind of cringed the whole way through.
oh yeah, games can't cost more than $10. They can't have DLC or updates. They won't say what the physical cartridges are because everyone thinks they're probably like NFC cards. Um, they keep announcing different colored versions of the systems, and it's like $350 at this point. The CEO who bought the Intellivision name is Tommy Tallarico, who video game fans might actually know.
Sounds familiar.
He was a decently well-known video game composer who also hosted a review show years ago.
Okay.
And he's the guy in charge of Video Games Live, the concert series.
Oh. Okay.
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 Except if you like, if I look up Tommy Tallarico on Google right now, what would actually come up? It is just article after article of how much this has gone
Yeah.
completely nuts.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, and I'm sure AR, like, you went from knowing nothing to this almost
Yeah,
doesn't
I
seem real.
wish
This almost seems like a parody.
I wish I didn't know about this.
Yes. I mean, like, my personal favorite was he was threatening to sue Ars Technica when they got information on the system because they went to the dev portal to see if they could request access, and there's no password on the dev portal. So they just went in and they started making notes about stuff, and he's like threatening to sue them. Or if you look at like videos from like Pat and Ian and other video gamers who aren't being positive to it, he's calling them gaming racist. At
Oh
one
my
point,
god.
and I want to find the exact quote because I want to get the quote correctly. Because Tommy seems to randomly show up places. Anytime you say the Amico, it's like it summons him.
Like you say Tallarico 3 times.
Yeah. Okay, I can't find the exact quote, but it was roughly, if you want games with violence or rape in them, they can buy a Switch instead. But like, or at one point, my personal favorite.
So what you're saying is Custer's Revenge is not going to be on this.
No, my personal favorite, and I just remembered it. They were showing a video of I think it was a reskin of a mobile game called Finnegan Fox. It was like a platformer, and you can see the Amico controllers look like They're like redesigned versions of the old Intellivision controllers, which I love. The Intellivision controllers were horrible.
Yeah, like
Um,
that's
so
not a plus.
so the sample videos, you can tell the controllers like really laggy, cartoonishly. So Pat and Ian, who run a gaming podcast, talked about this. Tommy later claimed the entire video was fake just to troll them, and the controllers work great. And it's like, I don't think you would fuck up a marketing video to troll two guys who most people don't know.
Jeez.
Oh, and
Uh,
Galhart says they've met Tommy
oh,
in our
hey.
chat. Gart's
Okay.
basically, yeah. And what Galhart said is apparent. My understanding is that's generally correct. Is great guy to meet, not great when it has to do with PR stuff.
Yeah.
Although apparently anyone who's been positive to the Amico and runs a YouTube channel gets a ride with him in his it was a Ferrari or a Porsche, I believe it was.
Oh, I was gonna say that better be a helicopter.
But yeah, we don't talk about it because there's not like everything we've said here is basically
It's
everything there is to say. Like we're not technically a video game podcast. We
and
talk about it because it's stuff we
yeah,
enjoy, and we don't
and
actually enjoy shitting on things as much as it
and
comes up. But
yeah, and also like I grew up with the Atari and the Nintendo, not so much the
yeah,
Intellivision, but those aren't the games I tend to gravitate towards. Like
no,
I'll play like Mario 3 once in a while, but I'm not going that
no,
far
exactly.
back.
And here's the thing: I'm theoretically the audience they should be going for because I care enough about the Intellivision that I've bought digital Intellivision homebrew ROMs. Like I
Mhm.
have in the last decade, I have bought games for the Intellivision that are brand new because I do have
You
fond
have.
memories of the system, and there are good games. But none of that appears to be anything to do with the Amico. So it has no appeal to me. I buy random game shit. Devin B talk about buying random shit. I have
It's like,
the
why are you buying this shit? You have a shit that looks almost exactly like this shit that you already have.
and then I explain to you why it's relevant, and you go, "Oh, okay." Like I have stupid shit on order. I have the Playdate on order. Have you guys seen that game system?
Nope.
It has a
No.
crank on the side.
Jeez.
But that's actually from like a company that has made games and sold games before. And you buy it and you get like 20 or 30 games weekly once it's out. It's just a neat little Game Boy thing. So it's like, oh, that seems like
Okay.
that. It seems like that will be
Okay.
fun to have. You buy the
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
system,
cute.
and then you get
And that's
one.
like
Yeah,
yeah, that's like Game Boy. Like
yeah,
that's closer to
yeah.
in my
I've
This
linked
range.
the chat.
feels like an upgraded Game and Watch.
Exactly. It was you buy the system, and then once it comes out and it ships to me, once a week you hook it up to your computer. It thinks a new game because they have a bunch of developers making games, and everyone gets their new game at the same time. And all the
Mhm.
devs are generally well-known developers who are making games for it. And it's
Yeah,
just
this
It's
seems
easy to
fine.
get.
yeah, and it's just a little fun little thing. And the retail price without the case is like 180. It's just like, and you're getting that and 24 games, I think it is. So it's like, okay,
Well, that's
I'm.
adorable. It also has a clock.
It has a
Cute.
clock.
Yeah, like scrolling down like through Google Images, it also turns itself into a clock.
Oh, I had no idea. But
Game
yeah,
and watch.
well, I think that's what the inspiration was what if you had a Game and
Yeah.
Watch with a proper screen, you could add games to it.
Mhm.
So this is the type of thing that fits with me. I like, old games. I like new games. It's like this is a great little thing, and we'll get some games with it. And I'll have fun. I should be thinking about that about the Amico, but there's nothing there. Nothing. I
It's like old man yells at clouds.
yeah.
Yeah.
Eh, yeah, that's exact. That
I just did a random Google image search for this play date, and yes, they're running Doom on it.
Oh, of course they're running Doom on it. I'm sure someone's doing an FPS on it, and someone's gonna have Doom on it on the first day. It will be done. But yeah, of
Yep.
course. But yeah, the Amico, we're not gonna talk about much past this because we have nothing to say. We'll laugh when it comes out because, and this is something that's been pointed out. Something coming out is not the finish line; it's the starting line. Because if it doesn't do anything, then what was the point of spending? But it's like 300 to buy it. Terrible. Did we miss any questions going through that?
That was not the last question.
I know. I'm seeing if there are any in the chat though.
Oh.
Yes, Galhard, I have heard of that Mega Man port that you mentioned. Okay, next up. So this one, the others accidentally got aimed at me. This one was more explicitly aimed at me. Someone wants to know what specialized home theater equipment I use to work on movies and TV, and if there are consumer versions they could buy. The answer is I don't use anything that's that specialized. There's nothing that I have that you couldn't just buy. And I don't mean like, oh, it's a $10,000. I mean everything is normal, cheap. The closest, I don't have anything that's specialized. I ordered a TV stand from Walmart and built that.
I mean, for what you're doing, I mean, you're doing QA work. It shouldn't be specialized. It should
Well,
be a
here's the thing.
regular.
Here's the thing. QA work and that stuff means going through all the video and audio also. But it's more a
Yeah.
matter of getting stuff that's nice rather than just blowing money on it. Like my computer monitor's normal, my speakers are normal, which annoys the person who does audio the best that I know. She gets very upset that it's like a $120 pair of Logitech speakers and I notice errors and stuff on it. But yeah, there's nothing specialized. It's all normal stuff you could buy. Minus that some of my stuff's older and you couldn't find it anymore. But there's nothing special. Just there's no need to buy stuff like that in most cases. Just get whatever equipment fits your budget. Yeah. And then someone wanted to know, when we recommend stuff, it's often big things. What about movies we remember that meant something to you?
I mean, Super Mario Brothers.
Yep.
Wasn't that
Yeah.
your answer like a month ago to something like a terrible movie we liked or something like that?
It's our comfort movies. It's like, yes.
That's a comfort movie for me too. I wouldn't say that necessarily meant something to me. I think if I'm looking back to my childhood and a movie that meant something to me, it's probably The Sandlot. That one hit me hard.
See, certain movies
My
like
Neighbor
that.
Totoro.
See, certain Totoro I remember, but I don't remember it being that important to me. In the case of The Sandlot,
I like wandering off into the woods.
What was that?
Dev likes wandering off into the woods, she said.
I mean, there are times.
So, movies like The Sandlot, I don't have much fondness for a key reason. They're in that group of movies that after school programs, summer programs, just played them fucking endlessly because so like The Sandlot, Rockadoodle, movies that I just
Oh
don't
God, Rockadoodle.
movies that
Yeah, that one I remember seeing ad nauseum. Sandlot
Yeah.
I actually saw in theaters though.
I
Like
think
that
I
was an
saw, I
original
think I, s-
release that I
I think I
caught.
saw it in the original also, but it's just it fits in that group of movies that I had to see so many times when I didn't want to.
I think what
That
helps me with The Sandlot is that I saw it in the theaters. I don't think I've ever seen it again. I don't think I'd ever
okay.
watched it since. So
Okay.
that's why
Yeah.
it still kind of holds
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's sort of like I know The Land Before Time's a good movie. I don't really
Yeah.
want to fucking ever watch it again. It's shown
Right.
up too much.
There's also The Last Unicorn, because goddamn, I fucking love everything about that.
The weird legal shit for that movie has finally been cleared up.
Hell yes, Peter S. Beagle.
Yeah, so you do know the weird story behind that shit.
Yes, like I know, like I see him a lot in person at conventions, and I've like talked with him a lot, and he's just like a fantastic guy. And
Yeah,
just like
and the rights were stolen from him and all kinds of weird shit. Yeah, as far as I know, that's all been cleared up, I believe. So
yeah, there was actually an article on like Anime News Network, which is like,
okay.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, see, part of the issue is like the movies that I really remember, I can't recall when I would have first seen them. Like Ghostbusters, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, those movies that kind of like are in your blood. I don't know when I would have first seen those movies.
Yeah, and it's weird for me because I watched Ghostbusters 2 way more often than I watched Ghostbusters. I think that was just a matter of what we had available. But
I do remember.
A lot
I think
of movies
it was
were like I spent over like my mom's house and just like she just put on a random movie that she had.
And also to bring things full circle, I also got into the animated series. I got into the real Ghostbusters before I actually saw the movies. So then when I saw the movies, I'm like, why doesn't Venkman sound like Garfield?
Yeah, the 80s were fucking weird on what got cartoons.
Yeah.
Cuz like when you think about like RoboCop's gotten two different kid-friendly cartoons in the 80s and 90s. It's like I love RoboCop. I always have loved. If you watch RoboCop, your initial thought is not, I know, kid-friendly cartoon.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, when I think of RoboCop, I've never seen the cartoon, but I don't think that would make a great cartoon.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
they did two of them.
Yeah, oh yeah, they did cartoons for everything.
But like,
I
or
mean,
even
in hindsight, it is kind of weird that Beetlejuice got a cartoon when you actually watch the movie.
oh, absolutely. No, but like RoboCop, Rambo.
Oh yes, Rambo. God.
The Toxic Avenger got a cartoon. That one's weird because that one's not even like well known. What else did? I'm trying to think here. Oh, in the 90s, Starship Trooper got like a high budget
Yep.
CGI kids cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how the fuck is
Yeah.
this?
And Casper Van Dien's in it, as far as I remember. I think he did. I don't know if he was in the show, but I know he did PSAs for it, where it's like, oh, watch out for child abuse. Like I remember that one, where like I'm pretty sure they did like a child abuse PSA. I'm pretty sure. Okay, the one I remember, Conan the Barbarian got one. And I love that fucking cartoon. Conan the Adventure was what it was called.
Yep.
It was about him trying to save his family. It's like, that's not what I remember from the movie.
Fun fact, that was named after that movie.
Actually, it's weird when I think about it like, oh, they did a mask cartoon. It's like, that's really not a kid-friendly movie. I mean, I'm happy to see the show, but that show ran for a year and a half for 60 episodes.
What show?
The Mask.
The Mask.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it had
I mean,
crossovers with
I
Ace Ventura.
why
That one's sort of in that
show for it.
Yeah, that one
it's
makes
very
sense.
it's very adaptable though.
Yeah.
So a concept like that.
Well,
though.
that's
like you can just take out all the nasty stuff and just be.
That falls into my
I don't
favorite.
know. I was like 8 years old watching that, and I did not give a single fuck.
That falls into my favorite genre of sequel, favorite or most hated, where it is clearly a sequel to the thing. It just ignores a bunch of it. It ignores the ending. It ignores that some characters exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is weird because Ghostbusters didn't do that. The cartoon actually
No.
There's an actual episode explaining why the suits look different in the cartoon and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a strange bit of continuity in hindsight with real Ghostbusters.
I guess it depends, like, how much the writers actually care.
Ghostbusters, they clearly did. Although God bless that it was Straczynski before he became insane and leaves everything he does. He used to like stick with things for a long time. Then it just morphed at some point. It's weird. I think that's why that one fake Watchmen cartoon intro always made me laugh, because that 100% would have been the Watchmen cartoon.
Yep.
Yeah. Man. I think that's about wraps it up. There's no more Digimon questions left. We had a lot of non-Digimon questions this week.
I don't mind non-Digimon questions.
Oh no, neither do I.
It's nice.
I do my best
when I can reflect on my childhood.
I just do my best that when I put them together, I try to like intersplice them, and I couldn't really do that this time based on the questions sent in.
It's just like none of the questions are about Digimon.
Well, there were Digimon questions, but it was all stuff we've kind of done, like what do you think will happen with Ghost Game, or asking us the plot of the O2 movie, when we kind of commented on it all we can for the moment.
Yeah, we've talked about all that stuff before.
Yeah. But yeah.
And we're not going to find out more about the O2 movie for a little while, I think.
Okay, wait. It's time for the question I'm going to ask you guys. Are you ready? Do we
Uh-oh.
find out relevant information about the O2 movie first, or does the Amico come out?
I'm gonna throw all I'm gonna abandon everything. I'll throw caution to the wind and say Amico.
Good luck, Tommy.
Tellerico, Tellerico, Tellerico.
I believe it was ignoring that the original release date was last year. It was scheduled for, I believe, October this year, and a month ago they delayed it to December. I don't
It'll
think
still
that's enough. I don't think that's enough of a delay.
it'll still come out before Survive. Calling it now.
Oh man. So you're saying that we're gonna see the glory of the Intellivision Amico before Digimon Survive comes out.
Absolutely.
Now, here's the
I mean,
important
it might
question.
take us a while to see the glory of it, but
Here's the important question. Which ends up being more fun?
it better be Survive, Jesus.
The answer is going to be Metal Gear Slug acting. AR, do you have anything coming up next week, and where can they find you?
I have no idea. I actually snuck a couple things out last week. With when I didn't even I
Oh
don't
my
think
God,
I remember to tweet about it.
oh my God. Okay, you said that regardless, you're not going to do weekly Ghost Game reviews, right?
Not on System
Okay,
Restore. I might
okay.
do like tweets and stuff.
Here's my idea. Are you ready?
Yes.
You get an Amico and play it with your son and report on it on System Restore as to if it's something those looking forward to Digimon Survive should get.
If they get me like a preview copy or something.
They'll send you
I'm
the
not buying that.
they'll send you the ugly purple neon one that was
Lucas already plays Mario Kart. I'm not degrading him down to Intellivision level games.
Ah, fuck. Dev, what Wikimon article would you like people to read this week?
Wizardmon, just because I'm using it as a reminder to myself that in the next day or so when I get paid, I need to pre-order that
And
because pre-orders close in like 2 days.
Is that a lie, Dev? Is it really because you want the purple Amico?
I mean, I
Are they
want
coming
purple
out in
everything.
different colors?
Oh, different colors, some of which are exclusive to stores.
Oh,
Who the fuck
great.
would stock that?
One sec. Before we go, I need to pull up what the actual color list is. Because we need to go over this horribleness because
God, it looks like an iMac.
Okay, are you ready?
Oh my god, you're right.
The colors here are graphite black, glacier white, exclusive to GameStop is galaxy purple, and I believe the one that you had to order direct from them early on, wood grain. Because because they claim it's not a throwback product, it's a new relevant product, but because it isn't, it has to be wood grain, or else where would horrible 80s stuff be?
Oh god, is that even horrible
Why?
80s stuff? I thought wood grain was even before that.
Oh, it was, but there was a lot of wood grain in
Yeah,
the
like
80s, and I'm
Oh
showing you the picture.
70s.
It's not even good looking wood grain.
no, it's not.
It's wood grain with gold trim. Oh man, that's not even that. You're right. That's not even the 80s. That's the 70s.
No, that's 70s.
No, and since Galhart brought up, LGR would not be proud because anytime he uses wood grain, it looks classy. This does not look classy. Oh no,
Like
no, oh no, no. Oh, I saw an image. I need to click this to see. I think. Oh no.
Please share with the class.
I need to double check. Okay, no, it was a GIF someone made. It wasn't real. I thought that one of it was that Tommy was gonna sign the wood grain ones. It was someone made a GIF of a signature appearing on it because people were talking about how quickly he can sign stuff in person. Okay, never.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh no, they're not actually doing this, are they? Because the GIF actually looks really nice. It looks nicer than the actual thing. I have to share it with the class, of course, because there you go.
Jeez.
I saw that scroll through pictures. And I'm like, oh no, is that a promo photo? And no, it's not. Oh, ugly wood grain. That's
Yeah,
certainly
that
that.
just makes me not want to play that system.
Oh, man. I don't. And here's the weird thing: they're very adamant that it's not meant to be like a throwback thing. What? What? I.
They're full of shit.
Yes, they are. We will.
Although thinking about crappy video game consoles, going back to that question about wanting something younger and not getting it, no joke, I wanted a Jaguar when I was a kid.
To be fair, the advertising for the Jaguar was not terrible.
My friend had one, and at the time the graphics looked pretty good, considering I was still kind of in Super Nintendo mode.
I'm happy for Jaguar owners in that there's now enough of a third-party hardware scene that they can get the hardware they need, like replacement controllers, and people have made adapters so you can use Genesis or Super Nintendo cables rather than the weird Atari ones.
Thank God.
Yeah. The Amico. I'm trying to think of something positive to say about the Amico, but it just looks ugly and looks like shit. And I'm literally the person they should be trying to sell it to.
They failed.
Like I say that with no actual humor. I'm the person who they should be trying to get to buy this thing, and there's nothing there for me. Good luck for the Amico.
That GIF is mesmerizing though.
I know it's really well made. That it's
I just clicked on the actual the screen with it on so I can see the GIF, and yeah,
it's well made. I mean,
yes.
you can see why I thought that was an actual promotional image. So
Like we just kind of go into a trance looking at it.
yeah. So we've said all we can. Thanks everyone for showing up. We will catch you next time. Bye.
Talarico.
Bye.